This is an example, an art of the possible of a sales rep dashboard. And the goal here is to support multi-partner selling and understanding how she can position partners that influence her account, but also position partners to help her build solutions to support her account. Now, in this case, this model is SaaS, but this could easily be tailored to a services-oriented model for someone like Accenture, a regional partner, to help their client partner look for opportunities in their accounts by combining the partners that are there and creating an account hypothesis. So behind the scenes of this dashboard is based on real data. The main source, number one, is coming from PartnerTab. PartnerTab is a company that provides a solution that aggregates partner information and provides that data, which is surfaced here. So the fact is that I know that Fidelity Investments has CloudStrike, Infosys, and these other partners is sourced by PartnerTab. Also, the pipeline information is synthetic data, but also coming from PartnerTab. So that allows me to present to Sarah, my target rep, in context of her accounts, in context of what's in pipe, and in context what partners have influence on her deal that she's got to be able to close in Q4. So what we have here then is the ability for Sarah to come in and see, first of all, something very familiar, which is her territory. And this is pulled from PartnerTab, which ultimately pulls it from Salesforce. The pipeline information comes from Salesforce or the CRM of choice of the client, but then she sees the partner information. Now, Sarah's a great rep. She's kind of new and she's not really sure what these partners do. So in the old days, she would go to some source and try to go through all this content. We don't do that. We don't need Sarah to be an expert in CloudStrike. We need her to be conversational. So AllianceMind provides this concept of a reel. A reel is a 5-minute video to help Sarah understand why CloudStrike applies to, in this case, Pegasystems. What they do, why it's important, who her alliance manager is, this is preloaded into the tool, and access to a content repository. In this case, we're using HighSpot to say, okay, Sarah, if you want some real detailed information, it's right here. Let's not have her search around. Let her go right to the most current content. We all know that can be painful for a new rep to find what they need. So she now has a sense of these partners, but she really doesn't have a hypothesis. And that's where coalition selling plays out. How do we take this data, which is super valuable at the highest level, but we need to apply a methodology, and that is coalition selling. Now, what we'll do in a second is with this data and with an LLM that is basically supporting the client's go-to-market, in this case, let's say it's Pega, that LLM has the information about the products, the messaging, the go-to-market, things that are very specific to helping Sarah to generate a hypothesis about her accounts. It can't just be isolated. We have to have data to allow her to say, this actually is how it works for Pega. It's not generic. So let's go to T. Rowe Price. She got $4.5 million in pipe 2 deals, and there's a lot of partners in there. She doesn't really know what she's doing. She's smart, but she doesn't, in this case, know what she's doing. So we have 5 partners. This is teeing us up. Now, these intent signals can come from a Barbora or some other intent signals because most companies have subscriptions to that. We can pull that information out. The partners that are there, she has some information about those partners at this point. And if we want to, we can actually recommend the product footprint based on the vendor of choice, in this case, Pega. Now, what Sarah can do here is say, I'm new to this account and I'm really trying to put together my coalition. I have a QBR coming with my manager and I'm really not sure what to do. I need to really do discovery on this account and make sure that I understand what's happening. That goes in to coalition selling. She can also say she is trying to build her coalition. She is now in discovery mode. She's probably more than that. She's probably in building the business case because it's already in pipe. And then she runs something called the captain. The captain report is an acronym. The captain report takes coalition selling methodology and creates a report, the captain. So her boss comes in on Monday and says, Sarah, before the QBR, Can you run a captain on each of your primary accounts so we can understand how these partners fit? What the captain does, takes this data, all this data, and passes it to the LLM. In this case, it's going to OpenAI. Now, the captain is running, and what we're doing is evaluating all the information, all the partner signals, all the signals to come up with her hypothesis. Now, this is a high-level hypothesis. Obviously, it's not a Bible, but she can use this to guide her steps to have recommendations for her QBR and her account planning of exactly what she needs to do. Now, here's the captain report. Now, this is based on coalition selling. This is based on that information and based on everything it has available to it, including the signals that I mentioned before. So how to use this brief? Once again, this is a multi-partner brief, and it is creating the hypothesis, which obviously always needs refinement, but she gets an idea where she can start. So the Monday morning objectives is really helping her understand what she has to do or has to answer these questions. How to look at Infosys, ServiceNow, and AWS to build a coalition to help to close her deal. The action items in this case are actual people. If that data is available, the captain can pull that information and give, in this case, Sarah, the exact details. Executive summary, recommendations, what's confirmed in the data and what's inferred. Recommendation of products, the use of the marketplace. Now, this is coming from the client's LLM, and part of the engagement with AllianceMind is we help the client create that LLM to really drive sales, hypothesis sales methodology. The gaps, the importance of each partner, AWS Marketplace, potential procurement, obviously, Salesforce, then some recommendations, multi-partner marketplace transaction. Exactly what she should start thinking about. She doesn't have all the details here, but she knows she needs to think of it. Executive sponsorship, typical sales question. Positioning products, the risk, the discovery questions, executive talking points, and also next steps. So Sarah now, Monday morning, before her QBR with her boss, she has at least a place to start the discussion without really having a lot of detail because she's a new rep. Now, Sarah's got it ready for a QBR. So what you can do is she's got all these accounts, all this pipeline. She's got millions of dollars in pipeline. Well, the tool allows to apply the methodology and the data to build a QBR deck. And that QBR deck then lets Sarah start somewhere and allows her to talk to her boss, not only about an account, but also a territory. Because what you can do is there are the partners are more prevalent. Let's say she has a lot of Salesforce partners. She needs to build her marketing plan. She needs to build a go-to-market. The account strategy is great, but where's her pipeline coming from? These partners are prevalent in her territory. She should be talking to her boss and her partner marketing person to develop go-to-markets. Also, verticals. So let's go back to the dashboard and look at the next phase, which is the CRO dashboard. This is coming live from Partner tab. So the CRO always will be like, okay, all this partner stuff, I get it. I hear a lot of good stuff about it, but I'm really not really seeing it. I don't really get it. So why are partners important to me? So in this case, the CRO dashboard allows the CRO to pick each partner, in this case, marketplace. Look at the accounts they're already doing business in. Where are the EDPs are already in place? What's the pipeline in place that this partner is affiliated with? Where's the region? Oh, there's so many AWS accounts in the Northeast. I have to get my RVP up there working with AWS. You know what? We want to do a webinar. Well, I don't want to just do a generic webinar with AWS. Why don't we do it in financial services? Because that's where most accounts met. Now, if I look at Salesforce, a different point of view. The number of influence accounts, once again, where they're focused at, and they're focused on financial services. This is the pipeline in place. This is the pipeline. This is pipeline that Salesforce can impact, or we can develop multi-partner solutions using Salesforce. And finally, as we wrap, if someone's new or not familiar with the dashboard, there is a video which explains the dashboard because we want the reps not to sit through an hour's training in March and 5 new reps get hired in that time. They need to be able to come into this dashboard, have it be intuitive enough So that training isn't in their brain. We want them to be trained and knowledgeable. We want them to be conversational in context of the deals that are in pipe. And that is the goal of the coalition selling methodology.